Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estela.
And welcome to
Cafecito
and Crime. Hola, everybody. How's everyone doing? How are you doing today, sister?
I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I just sat here and told you about a dream, and it was a pretty awesome dream. Yeah.
A random ass dream.
It was random. Yeah. Sorry that we were not available last week. Barbie went on vacation.
Yes.
It was my first actual vacation after going to Florida that I went like on the plane because at Florida.
No, we went to Cali.
No, but like by myself with my kids.
Oh, yeah,
just
yeah,
by myself.
yeah,
But we went to Cali before. But the other time that I had went on vacation with my family, we drove. So this was the actual plane. And we went to California, and I was a Disney person.
Adult.
What do they call them? Disney adult. That was me, man. I had a good time. I loved it there. I wanted to get on all the rides, and I was like freaking out.
Wait, había mucha gente? I didn't even ask you.
Yes, there was a lot of people, pero the lines were really quick, and everything was so organized. Like Disney, top-notch organization, at least at the one Disneyland, at least. It was crazy how organized they were. Like they would even tell you.
Maybe they were expecting a lot of like mucha gente because it was during like spring break times.
It was spring break time, yeah. So I heard a lot of the people that were talking that the week before had been crazy. And actually that Saturday, because we went on a Sunday and on a Monday. So that Saturday had been crazy. So the Sunday was crazy, but that Monday, it wasn't that bad.
Not as much.
Yeah. But I mean, there was like waits up to like 190 minutes for a ride. But we had the fast pass thing, but I didn't like it that much because you know how when we went to Universal, I'm pretty sure you've been to everywhere. So in Universal, you just click it and you get on. Yeah. Right? No, over here you had to make an appointment.
Oh, on the app.
On the app.
Okay.
So then todo el día estábamos en el app, like trying to check to see where we're going next, and then do the kids want to get on? And then my husband got scared because he didn't want to get on the Incredibles ride with me, but nobody wanted to, so I didn't get on.
¿Te hubieras subido sola?
I don't know. I just felt like by that time my daughter got sick, so I was kind of like, let's just go. It was but I really wanted to get on the Incredibles.
You should have gone on by yourself.
And then there's some rides that are so popular that they'll charge you $22 a ticket extra just to get on that ride.
No,
we didn't get on the ride.
What was the popular ride?
It was the Mater ride, the Mater and Lightning McQueen. Yeah, it was. They had a wait of 190 minutes.
I'll just watch somebody get on it on YouTube.
I was like, no, we can't do it. And then we got stuck on a ride. We got stuck.
You did.
Yeah,
pero ya se había acabado, tan siquiera.
Well, yeah, pero my son was already scared of it, so I was kind of like, it's okay.
Yeah,
it's fine. It was just...
But why was he scared?
He was already scared because of the loops. Because the ride, the way it was kind of crazy. It was like a goofy. It was a goofy ride.
Okay.
So, según Goofy was learning how to drive. So you can
todo cresta.
Todo cresta. So, but it was amazing. I had a good time, and I rested a lot, and it was really cool. But every time I go to California, I want to move there. Every time. And your mom asked me, like on Saturday, we went out to dinner with my mother-in-law, and she was like, "Would you move to California?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't
think your family, the rest of your family would.
I don't think anybody
else wants to move.
Yeah. What about you? Are you coming?" And she's like, "No."
No, yo aquí me voy a quedar.
Yeah. And I'm like, pues entonces no. I can't leave. So yeah, it was really awesome. So sorry about that, but we're coming back at you today. I'm going to be bringing the case today. So let me tell you a little bit of backstory on this case. So this case is really popular. I know there's a lot of information about this case. And the reason that I wanted to do this case is because it just recently became relevant again. And I will explain in a little bit. We're going to be talking about the Amato family murders. Amato. 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 Family murders. And we're actually going to Florida today. Okay. We're going to a city called Chulaota. It's Chulutot. Bah, let me say it again. Chulaota. I don't know how to say that.
Excuse me, say that again.
Chulaota.
CHOO.
No. The actual spelling is CHULUOTA.
A ver cómo nos dice aquí how to pronounce.
Chulota.
All of that. Okay, for Chulota.
So we're going to Chulota, Florida. Just to let you know, like I said, I understand this is a well-known case, but there's a particular reason why I brought it up and why it came up. I had already kind of been looking into wanting to talk about this case. And it kind of reminds me of another case. So I'll mention that in a minute. But if you would like to come with us to Chulota, I feel like you have to say that, Chulota, Florida, then go ahead and grab your cafecitos.
And let's get started.
Okay, so fun, random, interesting fact of Chulota is that it is close to Orlando. Mm-hmm. And the name Chulota comes from Creek or Seminole word, which is believed to mean island of pine or of land of tall pines.
Okay.
So Chulota that name comes from a Native Americans, mm-hmm. and it's near a little, it's called Little Big Econ State Forest, which is home to diverse wildlife and including alligators. Obviously, we know Florida has alligators, deer, and I didn't know this, but there is a Florida black bear.
Huh.
Yeah, there's a black bear that is only native to Florida. I had no idea.
Me either. Interesting.
I thought that was interesting because I've heard of all kinds of black bears. But
yeah. I didn't know that there was one specifically native to Florida.
To Florida. To la Florida. So here is where Chad and Margaret Amato.
What's going on?
I don't know what's going on.
Tómate tu...
Amato. Mi agua?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm good. They started their family. First, they met and they got married in Orlando. Margaret had a son from her previous marriage, but it was said that later on in life, Chad did adopt her son, and his name is Jason. After they got married, and they had two more sons. One was Cody, and then their youngest was Grant, which was, like I said, the youngest, and he was born on May 20th, 1989. They moved to the quiet city of Chulota. Cody and Grant were very, very close. And I know that people say, oh, they're close. No. You don't understand. These two did everything together. They went to the same high school. They went to the same, literally were doing everything together. So much so, they went to, like I said, Timber Creek High School together, and they both joined weightlifting teams.
Okay.
They were both interested. That's when they found out they were a little bit interested in like health or mm-hmm. in the health area or like sports.
Wellness. Mm-hmm. How far apart were they
1
in
year.
age? Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they both attended the University of Florida as well. Mm-hmm. And they attended both nursing schools.
Oh,
like
wow.
They both were like and their plan was to buy matching BMWs.
Aww.
And they were going to move back into their parents' house whenever their parents went off to live in their like
retired
community or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they were a little bit, you could say, well off.
Mm-hmm.
Margaret and Chad was kind of like an engineer, and he would work on like computers, like tech, IT. But Margaret actually she was big in the health community. So she was I believe she had something to do like a chairman of some hospital. So I mean, they had good jobs, and they lived in a huge house. Jason moved out. Like I said before, he was the oldest, and he was around 19, and he started his own family, and he moved away, and he would come back as much as possible. They were a good,
family
unidos.
Unit.
Yeah, estaban unidos. The family were all gun enthusiasts, todos. Mm-hmm. And even Margaret. And Cody and Grant even made their own airsoft team. So this right here reminded me from my last case.
Yeah.
And something else is going to remind you of my previous case, which when I was doing it, I'm like, wait, this sounds...
I didn't know that was such a thing,
At first, I didn't know what an airsoft team was.
Yeah.
So Grant was more of the loner of both of them. Right?
Okay.
He had no friends, and the only friends that he had was Cody.
Yeah.
And not only that, but Cody's friends were his friends.
También.
Pero ellos...
So, ¿quién era el más grande? ¿Cody?
Cody era más grande.
Okay.
So Grant was the younger one.
Okay.
Pero si Cody no estaba, the friends wouldn't hang around with Grant.
Right. It's just cuando he was around.
Exactly. So, I mean, it wasn't like they were like, oh, we're chilling. No.
Like outside of your brother, we're not hanging out.
Mm-hmm. So they both also entered the anesthesiast program. Mm-hmm. So they both wanted to be
anesthesiologist.
And nurses for anesthesiologists. Now, at this point, we're not really sure why, but Grant got kicked out of the program. He still graduated with his nursing degree, pero
not for anesthesiologist.
Exactly. But Cody went off and he graduated. After all of this, they actually worked together.
Okay.
Yes. And they both worked at a hospital or a place called Advent Health in Orlando, and they both worked as nurses. Now, Grant was just a regular nurse, pero, his brother was
la specialty.
Yeah, the specialty. So while there, we're going over to June 2018, the facility noticed that they were missing 8 vials of medication that is used for sedative for operating room. And it's called propofol.
Okay.
The medication had not been ordered by any doctor, but it had been in the 2 rooms that Grant had been over. So you know how they give the assigned rooms. So when they questioned Grant about the medication, he said that he didn't steal the medication, and I quote, to sell it or anything.
Did they ask you that, or he just volunteered?
No, he just volunteered that information.
Don't you usually, not that this matters, but I'm thinking just here, like when you take out medication or anything like that, don't you scan it?
Well, back then in 2018, there wasn't a scanner available, pero you had to write it down. Okay. They had like a log.
Okay, now it's more, they just straight up scan right under your badge or whatever, I guess.
Or whenever, like now you go to the hospital and they'll scan their badge and then scan the medication and then they'll
It's like logged in the system. Okay.
But over here, back then when they were doing it, it was more of a log.
It still wasn't a thing. Okay.
So he had logged out the medication. Grant.
Okay.
And so,
but he said, I didn't steal it.
He's like, I didn't steal it. I wasn't taking it to sell it.
Yeah.
Okay. He said that, and this is what he, I guess, told the people there, that he was actually giving it to patients who were not being adequately relaxed. Yeah.
Wait, what?
That he was giving it to patients, but those patients that he was giving it to, they were not adequately relaxed.
But can you just, as a nurse, administer medicine without an approval from, I mean, I don't know. This is what just common sense to me, right? You just can't administer.
And who told you to do that?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
You just don't take it up on yourself to administer medicine to patients.
No matter what it is, like it doesn't
not a
matter
doctor.
if you're not a nurse or whatever. If you're not under a doctor, the doctor obviously there's a lot of nurses that do a lot of.
For the doctors, right? There's a hierarchy.
And there's a scope of what they can do and what they cannot. I mean, and all nurses know that. Okay, so it's like I'm a medical assistant and I know exactly what I can and cannot administer. So I need to stay where.
And I know. I mean, obviously they're very knowledgeable because even you sometimes you know how you see the patient before the doctor comes in, and then I remember you've told me that you would tell your doctor, hey, it seems like it might be this, and then she'll verify it, and she'll be like, hey, you were right, it was this.
But I can't sit there and act like I'm the doctor.
No, of course
but
not.
I mean, that's in between me and her,
right?
Or whatever.
Whoever you're working for,
But for example, him, who are you? Who are you? Yeah, you might have thought he wasn't, but you should have gone to the doctor or whatever it is. But anyway, point is, this fool, they fired him. So arrested him. They did, because they arrested him for grand larceny in November. So that was in June. In November, lo arrestaron.
Todavía en 2018.
In 2018. Okay. So lo arrestaron, right? Then since...
do you know that's 8 years ago?
Yeah.
I'm here thinking it was like 3.
No. 2018 is 8 years ago. My son was born in 2015 and he's 10 tomorrow. I was just telling you about that.
I know, but it's just like... post-pandemic, you're like, what?
So then after that, they did drop the charges. El hospital said, we didn't want that smoke. The thing is, ponte a pensar, si ellos empiezan a abrir este can of worms,
it's gonna make it look bad.
Exactly. And not only that, but the backlash that they were gonna get, no querían eso. So they were like, no, we're not gonna do all of that.
Con que lo hayan corrido, they're fine with that.
So his parents started to bring up, after he had been laid off, okay, so what are you going to do?
Do you know how old he was at this point?
I want to say he's 24.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's 24 because he's from 89 and from 2018. I'm going to say 24. Pero he wasn't a baby, tampoco. But he lived with his parents.
Yeah.
So they were like, hey.
29, bitch.
29. Oh, shit. Pues casi 30, ¿verdad? My bad. I don't know where I read 24. Maybe I was talking about something else. And so his parents started to say, pues, ¿qué onda?
Like, no estás trabajando. You know.
Like, no
if you can
nada.
live here, it's fine.
Yeah, pero here's the deal.
Was he pretending to be depressed or something?
Well, let's get into that.
Okay, sorry.
So his dad, Chad, was very nice, but he knew and him and his brother knew not to make him upset. So like he knew que era muy explosivo el señor, ¿verdad? He would state that his dad would bring up the same thing over and over again.
And it would like piss him off.
And it would piss him off. So the thing is that I understand why the family would do that, because they were taking care of all of his expenses. Not only just like regular, like, oh, I'm going to the store. No.
Oh, we're going to go out to eat and we're going to pay for you.
Pay. No. He literally would buy a whole bunch of shit and then put it on their credit card.
Le pagaban el cell phone.
El
car insurance.
Car insurance. And, well, I mean, probably car insurance. The car, he probably didn't, pero everything, right?
Yeah.
Y si no le daban las cosas que él quería, he would call Chad. I mean, excuse me, he would call Cody and be like, hey, Cody, I need this money. El brother se lo daba. Because he felt bad. So.
I mean, it's hard, I know, but like, we see it from the outside in.
We see it from the outside in. Yeah. So he was now struggling to find a job, as we can tell. So what he would do was just stay home all day and just play video games. And he told his family that he was going to become a streamer on Twitch. Mm-hmm. So que he was going to be a gamer.
Okay.
And his family said, okay, hasta le compraron las cosas, pues.
Well, they believed in him.
Yeah. So they were like, here's...
Wait, y pendejo no estaba.
No. He was very intelligent. And a lot of the stuff that I get, and then I'll go into a little bit later, pero muchas de las cosas, like, you can go on YouTube and watch him, and his vocabulary no estaba menso. Like, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you graduate from college, you go to a nursing program.
Yeah,
I mean...
Yeah. So, and then now, he's like, pues vamos a darle todo lo que quiera al compa, right?
So he can succeed.
So he can succeed. So he needed to start his page. Now, I don't know how that works. Twitch,
girl, I don't either.
I don't know, pero this is what the words were saying.
Not the words.
Or like the article. So... around this time is also when he started. Well, I mean, ¿qué haces cuando estás ahí solo sin hacer nada y no tienes novia? Y pues, ¿qué pasa? Pues te pones a ver porn. Te pones a ver porn y luego pues los sites y de ahí va una cosa a otra.
And you start paying for shit.
Exactly.
Oh.
So then here is where he ended up at MyFreeCams, and they weren't free, .com.
What?
MyFreeCams.
Okay. I thought you said ham.
No, jamón no, traes hambre. And so this was a cam girl site.
Yeah.
And this is where he meets a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Cam girl. And her name is Silvana Ventaslovia.
Okay.
Who went by Sylvie or Addie Sweet.
Okay.
Online, she's from Bulgaria.
Okay.
Okay. So Sylvie, to see her, you needed to buy tokens. Right? So it was free to turn on the camera, pero then you needed to pay to see her, right? So this is how they worked. You would buy 5,000 tokens.
Damn. Okay.
For over $600. Now, Sylvie had her own price. I'm guessing it goes based on the girl, or I guess I'm not sure how that works. Pero
like extras?
Extras, yeah. And so, well, no, not really, just to see her. Or to talk to her?
No, but I'm talking about like, it's one thing to see her, but anything extra, like to message with her or something like that.
Or for her to answer you or whatever.
Más, ¿verdad?
So she would charge 90 tokens a minute.
Ah, la verga.
A minute. So these 5,000 tokens, whatever, they weren't going to last them about an hour.
Nada más.
Maybe right?
We're in the wrong business.
And I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, girl, ¿quién va a saber qué está ahí en la cámara? Te escondes todo, vámonos.
AI, bitch.
AI? Shit, I would do it. And, bro, I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then we're talking about one man. Imagine cuántos no están.
Exactly.
That's fucking crazy. We'll make the calculation later. Anyway, so not only did he start talking for real, Estela looking it up right now. Not only did Sylvie, like I said, he started talking to her, and he actually made some friends in the platform, porque como te digo, pues no tenía muchos friends, el compa. And he would tell his friends and Sylvie, that he was a successful gamer, and he was rich, and that he lived in a big house. But it wasn't his.
Yeah.
So he got to the point where he would start to send Sylvie lingerie and sex toys.
To Bulgaria?
To Bulgaria. For her to use while
they were on.
And so he would pay like extensive amounts of money for her time.
Yeah.
Like for her to just even look at him. So he noticed that the more money he would give her, pues más Sylvie pues estaba ahí, sí, aquí estoy, you know?
Sí, güey, es su trabajo.
She's doing her job.
Exactly.
Pero in his mind,
he's like, she likes me.
she likes me. Yeah. So he would spend hours to a point where he was paying $20,000 a night.
What?
A night to talk to her. Yeah. A night. We're not talking about like
in a year.
In a year. No, a night. Right?
¿Y de quién era el dinero?
There we go.
Not his.
Not his. So this is when he started to steal from his parents. He was using their credit cards.
That's that. He wasn't before?
Yeah. Well.
But now it's like deep.
Yeah.
Like estafando.
Yes. And when they confronted him, he said that he was using that money, pero era so that he can hype up his Twitch account. So his family was okay with it. Because they were like, okay, maybe he's right. They were just trying to help him, whatever. So they were like, okay, cool. You know, no,
do what you gotta do, whatever.
Yeah, you know, whatever. So I know. Chad and Margaret did confront their son again multiple times about the charges because their credit card was like, okay, dude, one thing is Twitch, pero now you're like,
¿Qué estás comprando pinche un carro? ¿Qué verga?
For real. And it was always a heated conversation. They never turned out good, right? So Cody would always tell him that he would take care of it and he was the one trying to keep the peace in between them. Now, once again, we go back to the same thing. Si no agarraba el dinero de un lado, era de otro.
If it wasn't his parents, it
was Cody. Right?
Damn.
So then,
Cody, obviously, he was, well established.
Yes.
Él
tenía su
trabajo,
trabajo,
his
and his
family,
girlfriend, everything.
Okay.
So in December of 2018, now Cody and his brother had already planned a trip before he lost his job to Japan because they were both like big anime lovers. And so they had already had this plan. It was him and then Cody and his friend, the Cody. They were going to go to, I think it was like this particular place that they wanted to go see. No sé, como a tourist place. I don't know. So since Grant had been having such a hard time, Cody le dijo, vamos y yo voy a pagar todo.
Wow.
So he paid for the whole trip for his brother to go because he didn't want to leave him behind because they had already had that.
And he probably thought that it would help him out or sacarlo de, his mindset where he was. He didn't have a job. He was just at home trying to build his Twitch.
Yeah, his Twitch. Not really, but whatever.
No, but so they thought,
So it was said that, this is just theories, that while they were on their last night of Japan, Grant told the guys que he wasn't feeling well, que él se iba a quedar en la casa or en el hotel, que he wasn't going to go out to sightsee. When he stayed behind, he stole Cody's friend's credit card. Yeah. So it wasn't even like...
De su hermano.
No, era del friend. And he went to a Wi-Fi place, like a cafe, and he went to go talk to Sylvie. So his friend said that he didn't realize that his card no estaba hasta que la company le habló para question the $600 charge because they were like,
fraud alert. Yeah, and it's in a different country.
It's in a different country. Now, imagine, I don't know what happened, si el señor le cobró, el muchacho, whatever.
Or if Cody tried to
imagine the embarrassment de Cody, saber que, sabes que, where is the credit card? My brother has it. ¿Te imaginas? Like having to
be the buffer between your friend and your brother.
Not only this, but you guys are all the way in Japan, and then you're gonna have to I'm pretty sure they had plane tickets back and shit
together. No way, and then you're sleeping together
in the same hotel. Imagine. Qué vergüenza. No, me muero.
Was this towards the end of the trip? Because that's
the last night. No te dije.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Because good thing. If anything, because imagine dealing with that in the middle of your trip.
I would have whooped his ass.
I would have filed a police report.
No. Yeah, I would have be like, y'all need to take his ass to jail. I'm not playing with you. You don't just take people's cards like that. No sé, pero no.
But you have to.
Pero también como siendo la hermana, siendo su hermano, ¿qué haces, güey? Que pinche vergüenza. That's so fucking
That's what I'm
horrible.
saying. Obviously, I'm not sure what happened, pero knowing Cody, or not knowing Cody, but just hearing the way that he was probably like, hey, I'll pay you the money. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, that's exactly what
to kind of
happened.
just keep the peace so they can at least make it back home y luego pues allá se arreglan,
Yeah. So when they returned home, Chad was super upset. Que sepa
Yeah.
right? And he was going through his accounts again. And he found even more charges que estaba haciendo este güey with more money missing. This is when they had enough. They were like, this is too much. I mean, they should have had enough a long time ago, right? So Grant left the home without telling anyone where he was going. Que se iba a ir el compa. And Chad's mom was, Margaret, their mom, was very concerned. And she did call 911 and she told them that she wanted them to check on him because he had been depressed and she was worried he was suicidal. And then since then, she had received text messages from Grant stating that he was tired of everything and that he was going to end it his own way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she had reason to worry. She had reasons,
yeah. Mm-hmm. So they actually found him. He was at his aunt's house, Deborah Amato. Now, Deborah Amato is going to be key here because this is going to open a lot of things right now. So Deborah Amato no es tía de él, pero política. Like they weren't, like it wasn't his like mom's sister or nothing. She was married into it.
Okay, so era como la cuñada de su mamá.
Yeah, de su mamá o de su papá.
Yeah.
No, de su papá because it's Amato, so yeah, es del papá. Okay. So she was married into it. I don't know, like the whole dynamic.
No,
yeah. She was an older lady.
Yeah.
She wasn't like a... whatever.
This is parents, I guess.
So later on, she said in an interview that she let him in her house, that he was just so skinny and he looked disoriented and lost because she felt bad for him. So she said that she let him in her home.
Well, she probably knew him since he was little and shit.
Yeah. So she said que the only thing que estaba que he had been sleeping the whole day, pero she would notice that his light was on at night.
Okay.
Pues está hablando con la, ya sabes. So a few days go by and Deborah goes through her bank accounts. And this is when she sees that there's charges on her accounts of hundreds, Estela, of dollars. So Deborah, in some places I heard que Deborah le habla al papá and in others que le habla al brother. But I'm not sure, but they're both the brother and
somebody received a phone call.
Yeah. And because she was like, I don't know what to do, right? And she tells him about the money that was missing. And then at one point, she does end up talking to the dad. And Chad just breaks down and he's crying. According to Margaret, she said that she had never seen Chad cry like that in the 27 years of them being together. Like crying con Deborah, diciéndole lo que está pasando. So Chad tells Deborah que they had been going through this with Grant for months. Que he tells her que they had to refinance their house.
Oh my gosh.
Because he got them into $150,000 in debt. And Grant had racked up not only that, but he also, he knew he couldn't retire anymore.
Wow.
Because, they were getting ready to retire.
Right, yeah.
He couldn't retire and he even had to get a second job, dude. Para pagar todo lo que había hecho este estúpido. He said that it was okay, dijo el papá.
Aww.
He said, it's okay, I don't care, as long as Grant does not go to jail. And then he asked her, please do not press charges. Que they were gonna...
they would pay her back.
Yeah, well, Cody said he would pay her back. So Grant, at this time, in total, including the family, y luego
el friend in Japan,
el friend y todo, is up to $250,000 in debt. This is not like poquito, güey. Es una pinche casa.
That's a house.
Yeah, es una pinche casa de dinero que le está mandando a una persona que she doesn't even know you exist, bitch.
Yeah, I mean, she does,
Well,
obviously.
she does, pero I mean, you know what I mean.
Like, you're not the only one that she's talking to, No. Like, she is doing her job, like we just said.
So now they now are like, okay, what do we do?
Yeah.
Like, we need to do something. This is getting out of hand.
Pues, and I'm assuming here que pues la tía lo corrió de la casa,
¿no?
¿no?
Obviamente,
sí.
Lo corrió. Y pues le dijeron que ellos le iban a pagar el dinero. Y entonces, so now the family, o sea, su mom, su daddy, su brother, Cody, and Jason, they all got together and they were going to do an intervention on him.
Jason is the oldest?
The oldest, ajá. Pero acuérdate que él no vive por aquí.
Right.
Pero a Jason no le pedía dinero. ¿Cómo a él no le pedía dinero?
Because...
No se lo iban a prestar. O no le iban a dar. Le había dicho Jason, shit, I have a family, shit.
Yeah, pero todavía su brother, es su half-brother, pero
sí,
es su brother.
Half-brother. Pero es su brother. Half-brother.
Pero pues, seguro Jason lo mandó a la verga.
Sí lo ha de haber mandado.
Desde un principio.
Sí, para que no le pidiera. Pero como yo pienso que I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of theories on what I think, pero I think Cody como que he wanted to protect him.
No, and like, I'm sure it's like growing up so close in age. You guys are a year apart, that's like a twin.
Pretty much.
What are they called? The Irish twins or whatever?
Irish twins, yeah. Mm-hmm. So they went and they were going to meet up with Grant outside of Deborah's house cuando ya lo corrió Deborah. Mm-hmm. Yeah? So On December the 22nd is when they confronted him. And they told him, you're going to have to be checked into a clinic. Like, there has to be something that we need to get you help. Because in their mind, they're still like, we can help him. We need to save him, right?
So was he on drugs?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Entonces, he was going to be checked into a clinic in South Florida. And the facility was to help people with porn addiction and with gambling. And I think it was like internet, something like that. I think there was like a 10-week program or something like that. And then, so Grant se fue. He agreed. And he checked himself out 2 weeks later.
Yikes.
On January 5th of 2019. So less than 2 weeks. Stating that he was told by a psychiatrist that at the place that he was fine and that he didn't need any more assistance. Now, just to let you know how deep Cody is into this now, Cody had paid for his like attorney fees for all the shit that he did with the, cuando lo corrieron y todo eso. That was around $8,000. And for him to go to this facility, Estela, Cody pagó $15,000 para el rehab center. $15,000 for the rehab center for him to get help. And then he fucking got out in 2 weeks.
He didn't care.
So after Grant comes home, the family decided to have a meeting again.
I would have kicked his ass out. I mean, again, saying this from the outside in, like we say, córrelo, or, mándalo a la calle, or, háblale a la policía, pero...
it's hard, I think. So Chad laid out all the rules. He actually wrote it down in a piece of paper.
Like a contract?
I have a picture of it, and it wasn't like a small piece of paper.
No, like a...
No.
Faltaba that it was notarized?
Look, like that.
It looks like a contract.
Like a contract.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you a few things that I read that was on the contract. Number one, he had to get a job during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is not things... When I finish telling you this, you're going to be like, this is not something that you're not supposed to fucking do at 29 or 30
It's
or whatever.
just like basic ass standard
shit.
Yeah.
And not only that, but if you read the actual note, it tells them why they're asking for this. Like, they still gave them explanation. They don't have to give them an explanation.
No.
They don't. But these people are so amazing that they were... Bro, who would love to have a family like that?
Yeah.
But
that when you're going through a hard time, support you in that way.
Yeah. And so then not only that, but he needs to stop the use of the internet after 12 p.m. He was going to start to pay his own cell phone bill. He was going to develop a plan to pay back the money that he stole. He was going to go to therapy and apologize to the family that he stole from and stop talking to Sylvie. That was the last one.
Pretty doable, if you ask me.
I mean, they're telling you can live with us. We'll take care of you. We'll take care of all of the shit that you've done. All you have to do is this. Bro, you could have gotten a job at fucking
Amazon.
Chick-fil-A. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Target. But you know what?
Or Best Buy.
He's an addict.
Yeah.
So we don't know. Just like...
It's a disease.
It's a disease, yeah. So in the paper, like I said, he did kind of write a letter to Grant and Chad. Excuse me, I was about to say. Chad le escribió, and I quote, "You choose a stranger physically not existent over your entire family." End quote.
Yeah.
So basically, you don't give a fuck about us.
You're choosing a stranger over your family.
Yep. Now, the thing is, in Grant's mind, Sylvie was his girlfriend, dude. Like, he's in love with her, and he's over here, like, thinks about her all day. Like,
they're
in love.
Be together.
They're going to be together.
They're going to get married.
Yes. So they weren't...
They're going to be a 90-day fiance the other way.
The other way. So he wasn't going to just leave her alone like that.
Yeah.
So it was made clear that he wasn't. So he broke all the rules, obviously.
Did he say that he was? Like, I mean, initially...
I don't know if they did go back home.
So I'm assuming...
And then just to get in. But he would have to leave the house immediately. So reports say that while he was gone at rehab... So this is something I read in between. Like, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I thought it was interesting because if it did happen, it kind of does fall into some other stuff that I found out. While he was gone at rehab, Chad and Cody... Well, as you know, Chad works with computers and IT and shit. So they were able to hack into his computer. And they were that's when they saw the extent of what Grant was doing and where he was sending all this money to. And some people even said that they messaged Sylvie.
So you said this is right before he went into the rehab center?
While he was gone.
Oh, he was gone. Okay,
He was gone.
So that's why in the contract they were like, "Hey, you need to stop talking to Sylvie." They had found out.
They had found out
who he was talking
exactly.
to. Okay.
So this, I don't know, but like I said, it kind of falls into what it says. Apparently, they told Sylvie the truth and how he was not a gamer and how he did not have all this money.
That he was not the person
that she thought. And then, and apparently that when he found out, like,
that they did that.
I mean, he was not happy about it.
Yeah.
After that, he did write a letter to his friends at the CAM website. I guess to say goodbye. I don't know. So I know. And then he told them, and I quote, his father is controlling and abusive. And that he also said that his mother was simply around for security. He also wanted to let them know that he hated himself for what he had done and that he hated the thought of never being able to be or see Sylvie again. After everything that I gave and everything that I tried to do with her, I just cannot comprehend being without seeing her be happy without me. I know it didn't make sense, but that's what it said. And then in her life, okay, so being so happy without me in her life is something that I hope you never have to live through. End quote.
Brother, what?
Basically saying
she cannot be happy without me.
Yeah.
Like
she's gonna not, but you do not realize that she's doing her job.
Again, but cuando no estás bien, I mean...
Yeah, no estaba bien el muchacho. So just after 9 a.m. on January the 25th, police got a call from Craig Cisco. I really like that name. I don't know why.
Craig Cisco?
Uh-huh.
It sounds like, let's go eat at Craig Cisco, you know?
Yeah.
Like a restaurant, like a nice restaurant.
Like a restaurant. Pero
see, where you have like really good margaritas and stuff.
Me gusta Craig Cisco.
Me too.
Like, first of all, Craig.
Like it just flows.
Craig Cisco.
Craig Cisco.
Like, bro.
Craig Cisco.
So, Craig Cisco.
From Florida?
From Florida.
Okay.
He's an admitted. Hi, Craig, if you're listening.
Craig Cisco.
Hey, Craig Cisco. Send us a message. No. He was an administrator at the Admin Health where his brother worked. Cody worked at.
Okay.
Pero de donde habían corrido a.
Okay.
So he kind of knew both of them.
Right.
And he was actually one of the many people that were concerned about Cody because he did not make it into work. And that dude was always at work. Probably pobrecito que he had to pay all that shit back.
Yeah. And he was like, I have to pick up extra shifts.
Yeah, or whatever he had to do. He wasn't answering anybody's phone calls. And according to Craig Cisco, he had never missed a day of work. So it was just unfortunate because they were like, there's no way.
Something's wrong.
So Craig Cisco and his coworkers were requesting a wellness check to be done on Cody. So the sheriff's department, actually, they arrived fairly quickly. Mm-hmm. And when they got to the Amato home, they were able to see Cody's car was in the driveway. Mm-hmm. And Chad and Margaret's car was also parked in the garage. So they were there. The officers did knock and nobody came. And so they started calling the cell phones of Chad and Margaret and whatever. And nobody answered. So they actually, which I've never heard of this, blew a horn, like a blowhorn, to get the attention of whoever's inside to see if they would come to the door.
Okay. That's different.
That's what I said. I've never heard, but hey, it's Florida. And all the doors were locked and there was no sign of anybody around.
Yeah.
So they had to, as we did on my other episode, they had to break in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. On my last episode también.
And they broke down the back door.
My God. So, I'm looking at their pictures of the family.
Can you see the family?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Look at Cody.
I know. It's so, yeah.
Well, I mean, imagine. Obviously, it's called the Amato family murder, so we know what's going on. So the sheriff's department arrived at the Amato home, and they were able to see, like I said, everything going on. So they made themselves into the house. So like I said, they came in the back door. So from the back door, the first thing that they saw was the body of Chad. Mm-hmm. So Chad, he was in the back of the kitchen. So he had been shot twice in the head. Now, there was a gun on him in his holster, pero it didn't look like he tried to
use it,
right?
Or maybe he didn't get the chance
or he didn't try, or he tried to pull it out. They moved on from the kitchen, and obviously there was a pool of blood. There's blood everywhere. Okay. Now they moved on, and then they next found Cody, and he was in a fetal position. in the door del storage del garage. So kind of coming in the garage door. And he had been shot in the face. Cody was still wearing his scrubs from work. Yeah. There was actually, I'm not going to say that. There was a handgun found just a few feet from his body. There was another gun there. So kind of just like his dad, but the gun was just laying there. It was just put
Maybe
there.
he tried to use it, pero no último no pudo.
Margaret was found last, and she was in the family office. She had been shot in the back of the head twice.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She was slumped over the computer. She worked from home, and there was nothing missing from the house, Estela. Everything was there. So they knew for a fact that, I mean, these people had money. There was guns. There was no way.
If it was a robbery.
Exactly.
They look so much alike, like Grant and Cody.
Oh, you need to look up Jason.
Yeah, todos, like all this.
The siblings. Yeah.
All Jason, Cody, and Grant, they look the same.
So there was not, like I said, there was nothing missing from the house. These people, they had money. It was clear that this must have been personal. The way that things were laid out, they believed that at that moment when they first walk in, since they saw the gun and the way that it was laid, they thought it was a murder-suicide. But the evidence told a different story. It seems that Cody didn't even make it far enough into the garage door when he was shot. Chad was shot while standing, but the second shot was done while he was down. Now I'm going to say something that I know it sounds a little bit bad, but so you can know, give it context. There was some dry blood that was around his body that looked like claw marks. So around him, so it looked like he tried to claw away, and they shot him again. Margaret.
Or crawl,
yeah. Como like crawling.
Yeah.
And then Margaret, she was also shot execution style. She was just sprawled over her computer. Now, the cops knew that there was something missing from the home because, as I told you before, they had gone to their house for the 911 call, and they knew that there was someone missing.
Yeah.
They did put out a lookout for the other family member, which is Grant. And they also put out calls so that they can start getting videos from the tolls around the area. They did see Grant they saw Grant driving eastbound in the morning and then westbound in the afternoon.
¿Se regresó el pendejo o qué vergas?
So, but they didn't see him passing between.
I went the wrong way.
I don't know. Things got a bit more interesting. I think that this girl is going to be the bad bitch of the story. Todo se vino a conclusión cuando they spoke to Cody's girlfriend, Sloan.
Okay.
Sloan, she told them all the tea, girl. She told them the tea. She told them about all the issues, about the issues they were having with Grant, all the money that Grant owed, all of the problems they were having with him. ¿verdad?
Yeah, that he got sent to rehab.
Everything.
Yeah.
And said, because Cody todo le contaba,
Pues
obviously.
Sí. Yeah.
And then she said that Cody stated at one point, and I quote, he was afraid that Grant would kill everybody.
Oh.
She also told investigators that the day she was actually working with Cody, y que ese día at work, before the bodies were discovered, she said that somebody sent him a message. He looks down on his phone and he said it was his dad. And when he read the message, she said it was a little bit after 9 p.m. Y que le dijo que they told him to come home. And she was like, well, what's going on? Le preguntó. And then whenever Cody turned around before leaving and he said, stupid fucking bullshit. He was over it, dude.
I mean, he wasn't wrong.
He wasn't wrong.
But you just never think that stupid fucking bullshit.
You're going to walk into somebody shooting you.
Or killing you. Yeah, ending
exactly.
your life.
So eventually, Grant was tracked down. And he was at a DoubleTree hotel.
Oh.
How did he pay? I don't know. Because
he probably stole a credit card.
He probably stole a credit card. And that was at approximately 7:45 a.m. on January the 26th.
I mean, what was the end goal here? Like, what did you think was going to happen? You killed your family and then what?
I don't know.
And then what?
I don't know. So he was in Orange County, Florida. So he was a little bit further away. And when when they got there, they found his 1996 Honda Accord. So that's why I tell you, he probably wasn't paying a car. He probably
had an old car.
When the police came in, there is body cam footage out there that anybody can watch on YouTube. And you can see Grant crawling on the ground. And then he stood up and then he turns around and kneels down in front of the cop immediately. Now,
he didn't want to get shot, little bitch.
Yeah. But the thing is, they weren't arresting him. Like, they were there to find him.
Question him.
They didn't know if he was in trouble or not.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't know if he was in trouble or if he needed help.
Right.
Like, no sabían.
Or
So
whoever had
he
done this
gets
to your
there-
family, like,
Yeah.
él mismo se echó de cabeza.
Él mismo se volteó y he got on his knees.
He's
so
like, I did it, I'm sorry.
No, he didn't say nothing. He just turned around. So they handcuffed him. Pues ya que pinchos.
Yeah.
So now, here's the deal. There was no evidence.
Against him.
Because guess what? Everything was cleaned up before he left.
Yeah.
So there was no evidence against him. There was nothing, Estela. Like the house was clean. Everything. I mean, there was a point where
Or no physical evidence.
no
I
physical
guess.
evidence,
Yeah.
obviously. And whoever did it, they took their time after they did it, and they themselves cleaned and staged it pretty well.
Yeah.
Not that he did a good job. I'm just saying, like,
to remove
enough
any
to-
of his
yeah.
DNA
so they
or whatever.
weren't immediately, fue este way, and we're gonna go pick him
But
up.
even then, if his DNA was in the house, he lives there. So, you know,
Exactly.
but as far as guess maybe like the murder weapon or, you know.
They were just bringing him in for questioning, and this motherfucker se tiró and shit. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so Grant was taken in for questioning, and he was there for 7 hours. He told the investigators that Chad had confronted him about talking to Sylvia again, and he told him to leave the house. And he said que cuando él se estaba yendo, he said Cody told him, it's going to be okay. I'll take care of it. I'll talk to my parents. And then after that, I guess he left and he didn't know what happened.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. But we remember that I mentioned that all the doors were locked.
Yes.
So if you got shot and killed yourself, you had time to go lock the doors? That makes no sense. So after all of this, he's just talking and talking, ¿verdad? Diary of the mouth y todo. But he never asked why he was being questioned. Like, he never said, okay, so what the fuck is this
What's going
about?
on?
Why
Can
am
I
I
go
here?
home?
Why am I not in my hotel room? I wasn't doing anything. No, él nada más empezó a hablar y empezó a hablar. And so pretty much, like you said, él solo se echó de cabeza. At one point, they did bring out, because there is video of this on YouTube, and they bring out pictures of the mom y del muchacho y de su papá y se los enseñan. They're like, this is how you left them. Like, la señora empieza, and he's all like,
Ay, se hace el
whatever.
asqueado.
Yeah, and so like I said, there's video out there if anybody, but I don't know why you would want to give him views. He then claims that, once again, he had nothing to do with it. So but the thing is, his story, not only the whole thing that the doors were locked, but his story kept going back and forth. So at first he said that he had packed his bag around 9:30, but then he said, no, it wasn't 9:30, it was 12:30.
En la mañana
En la
y luego en
mañana.
la tarde.
No, in the 9:30 at night, que se había ido.
O
But
cuando
then
lo
he
corrió
said-
su papá.
Yeah, pero luego he's like, no, it was 12:30.
En la madrugada.
Yeah. Another story that he said was that he had seen on the when he was driving by his parents' house, there was vans de la police outside his house, and that instead of going home to see what happened, he went to the local Panera Bread and he searched up top news stories.
Don't bring Panera Bread into this.
Leave Panera Bread out of here. Don't put Panera Bread in.
But you don't want to
You're a
go
nasty
and check
mouth.
in
No,
what's going on at your parents' house.
no. He just wanted to go to Panera.
So you just drive by instead and check
Sí.
the local news.
Exactly. So at this point, they're like, we don't know what you're talking about.
You
right?
did, yeah.
So Jason, his brother, came in, and there's video of this too. He came in and they tell
También.
him that he lost his whole family, dude, like his mom, his dad, like
His brother.
everything. And
And Grant is there, but he lost his whole family.
Yeah.
Like, his brother might be alive, pero pues, who wants a brother like that?
yeah, I don't know. But he came in there and that he was crying and he begged him, if you had anything to do with this, we know
Say
what
it.
you were doing. Please say something, blah, blah, blah. But he says no. He continues to
his
say no. He didn't have anything to do with it. He's like, I was listening to the investigator, y le decía al investigator, it's going to make you feel much better if you just say the truth, y que no sé qué. And he's like, no, I don't have anything with it. So with his inconsistent stories and the fact that he had a lot of...
they had a circumstantial evidence.
Yes. He was charged with first-degree murder of 3 counts of first-degree murder. And they did set a bond of $750,000 on April 25th, 2019. But it was funny to me because they gave him some things just in case he was going to post bond. Pero let me tell you what the things were. He could not use electronic devices.
What are those called when they impose those restrictions?
Restrictions.
Yeah.
So they told him he cannot use electronic devices. He could not use the internet.
Ay, se iba a morir.
Exactly. So
That's all he lives for.
And this is the sad part. And it's not sad because at the same time, but it just tells you who was taking care of him and why he was able to do what he did. Grant never posted bond because he killed the people that would help him out.
Yeah. And he didn't have any money.
He didn't have any money. The trial began on July 15, 2019, and Jason did testify against his brother. He did.
It's sad that that's the only family member, like immediate family member that was left of that family. I can even imagine his testimony.
No, I didn't listen. It's out there. You can listen, but I didn't listen to it, to be honest. The state did want to go for the death penalty because we're in Florida, baby. We're in the South. But the jury did not come to a conclusive agreement
Unanimous
on that.
decision, yeah.
So what they did was they did sentence him to life without a possibility of parole in August 12th of 2019. He was found guilty. When they asked him if he felt any remorse for what he had done or anything.
Did he still maintain his innocence?
Yep, let me tell you what he said. So he responded, and I quote, "My family has been blaming me for months for ruining their lives, stealing and not following the rules of their home. So I might as well be blamed for this too."
So what is he saying that happened? Or does he think happened? He said he doesn't know?
He doesn't know.
But it wasn't I, not I.
It wasn't him. And also, I would like to make this clear. The murder weapon was never found. The actual murder weapon was never found.
The gun?
The gun. Now, I could say, and that was the story, but no, I'm not going to say that. Because the reason that this came back up was because I don't know if you know, but recently, la esposa del ghost hunter or del ghost adventurer had actually been out there trying to kill him or something.
Yes, I did see that story a couple of weeks ago.
Well, guess what? She was talking to him, to Grant.
Oh, I did see that, but I didn't connect the dots.
Yes.
Okay, so you know the show Ghost Hunters, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know who this guy is on the show Ghost Hunters.
He is one of the
hunters.
Hunters, yeah.
Okay. And then his wife was trying to plot to have him killed.
Yeah.
And then and then she got caught, right? So the person that she was talking to carry out this murder of her husband was this bitch.
Yep.
Grant Amato.
Yes.
And how is she supposed to do that? How is he supposed to do that from jail or from prison?
I don't know, but let me tell you exactly. Hold on one second. Okay. So, this is what one of the stories says. I don't know how true this is. I don't know. But
what's the article?
So the article is People.
Okay. According to People,
Victoria Goodwin is her name.
Yeah.
She plotted to kill her husband, Aaron Goodwin, he's a host of the reality series Ghost Adventure, after falling in love with the convicted murderer, which is
Grant Amato.
So, according to an arrest report from Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department obtained by People, Godwin began to text Amato in March of 2024. After seeing him they made a docuseries about this case.
Right.
It's called Control Plus Alt Plus Desire. And the report that he had.
That's where she saw him.
And that's how she saw him.
What?
Yeah. And then, goes on to murdering his family. The pair also exchanged messages discussing how much they were
So they fell in love with each other.
Yes. According to the report, Goodwin also states, the woman, that in those texts that her husband, FH, or
El Señor,
El host, would not accept the divorce. So in one of the exchanges included the report that Godwin asked if she is a bad person, end quote. When he asks her, why does he feel that way? Godwin responds, because I choose to end his existence, not divorce. The texts were discovered after correction officers confiscated Amato's phone and sent it in for the Florida Department of Corrections, whatever. So authorities in Florida have now notified the Las Vegas Metro Police, blah, blah, blah. So this is how they found out, because she was texting.
I'm sorry. The show's not Ghost Hunters. It's
Ghost Adventures.
Okay, my bad. Sorry.
And so Godwin was plotting to kill her husband because she was in love with Amato. When questioned by the police, according to the report, which was why was she feeling this way, and talked to Amato, was because she felt lonely and she was experiencing problems in her marriage.
So you want to have your husband killed.
Yeah. And she denied wanting to have her husband dead. However, she said she could not recall sending messages about hiring a hitman. End quote, by People. So this is why when I saw that, I was like,
you remember?
I remembered that case, and I was like, because Bailey Sarian had made this case, the Morbid had. I mean, this was huge when it came out, or whenever it happened. But And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it because, I try to do cases that nobody really
has
listened to
before.
But then when I saw that, I'm like, this motherfucker. Now, have you seen this guy? He's probably like 100 pounds.
Oh, yeah. Es un palito.
Es un palito. No tiene pelo.
Yeah.
No tiene, o sea, speechless.
I don't know, girl. I don't know what's wrong with people.
But
people are not well.
That is the story of the Amato family murders.
I can imagine.
And I am really sorry for the loss of Jason, of the Amato family, because those people were an amazing
Like if you would want a family,
father.
That would be the family to have.
That would be the family to have. They stuck by
They try to help him.
And now this motherfucker's out here trying to kill somebody else's husband. To do what? You're not coming out of jail.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Longer.
What are you going to do? So
I don't know.
Let us know what you think. Let us know if you've heard of this case. If you would like to follow us, you can on
Cafecito and Crime Pod. And if you would like to download our episodes, share the podcast, leave us a review, and/or rate us. We would really appreciate it. You can listen to us anywhere that you listen to podcasts, and now including YouTube audio only.
Welcome to my channel. Okay, thank you very much. And I hope you have a wonderful day or night, wherever you're at. And go Pokemon Go. And talk to you in the next one. Bye.